Do you ever feel like you're paying an extrovert tax? Every time you force yourself to go to a networking event, every time you raise your hand in a meeting when your heart is hammering against your ribs, and every time you try to fake it till you make it by being the loudest person in the room, you are drained. For a shy person, social interaction isn't just talking, it's a high-stakes performance. You leave those situations feeling like a phone with 1% battery. And here's the worst part. You've been told that this exhaustion is the price of admission for success. You've been told that if you want the big house, the financial freedom, and the respect of your peers, you have to get out of your shell. But let's pause and look at that phrase. Get out of your shell. Why? Why is the assumption that your natural state is a prison that needs to be escaped? What if the shell isn't a cage? What if it's a laboratory? What if it's a high-tech bunker designed to keep out the noise so you can focus on what actually matters? Most manifestation advice is written by extroverts. They tell you to shout your intentions to the universe or command the room with your presence. That works for them because they thrive on external validation. But for you, it feels like wearing a costume that's 3 sizes too small. You watch people with half your talent and a quarter of your intelligence get the promotions, the clients, and the spotlight simply because they are allowed. You start to believe that the reticular activating system, that part of your brain that filters for opportunity, is broken for shy people. It's not broken, it's just tuned to a different frequency. Today, we are going to recalibrate your manifestation process. We're going to stop trying to turn you into a hustler and start turning you into a strategist. This is about manifestation for the people who would rather build an empire in the dark than stand in a spotlight they didn't ask for. We're going to break down the mechanics of quiet wealth into 6 distinct phases, moving away from the woo-woo and into the logical reality of how value is actually created. Let's talk about why your shyness is actually a mechanical advantage in manifestation. We need to look at the brain. In neurobiology, introverts and shy individuals often have a higher level of cortical arousal. This means you process more information per second than the average person. While the loud person is busy projecting their voice, you are busy absorbing data. You notice the micro-expressions on a client's face. You noticed a gap in the market that everyone else is talking over because they're too busy listening to the sound of their own ideas. Manifestation is 90% observation. It is about seeing the glitches in reality, the opportunities that others miss because they are moving too fast and talking too much. While the world is shouting, you are listening, and the person who listens the longest usually ends up with the most information. In the world of business and money, information is the ultimate currency. We also need to kill the myth that you need social confidence to be rich. You don't. What you need is competence, confidence. This is the deep, quiet, internal knowing that your work is superior. When you focus on being the best at what you do, whether it's coding, writing, trading, or designing, you don't need to sell yourself. Your results create a gravitational pull. Think of it like this. A lighthouse doesn't fire a cannon to get the attention of ships. It doesn't scream, "Look at me." It just stands there and shines. The ships find the lighthouse because they need the light, not because the lighthouse was charismatic. We are going to teach you how to shine without making a sound. Your reticular activating system, or RAC, is your brain's gatekeeper. For the extrovert, the RAS looks for social cues and stages. For you, we are going to program it to look for technical gaps in high-leverage systems. When you stop worrying about how you are being perceived, your brain finally has the bandwidth to see how the world actually works. You stop looking at the people and start looking at the patterns. To understand how this works in the real world, let's look deeper at the story of Maya. Maya wasn't just shy, she was paralyzed by the idea of being seen. She sat in the back of every corporate meeting, her notebooks filled with brilliant ideas she was too terrified to voice. She watched her colleague, Mark, get a $20,000 raise because he commanded the room, even though his projects were consistently over budget and late. Maya tried to manifest boldness. She stood in front of the mirror saying, "I am a powerful communicator." It didn't work because her brain knew it was a lie. Her nervous system rejected the affirmation because it felt like a threat. It felt like she was trying to trick herself into a dangerous situation. Then she shifted. She stopped trying to manifest a new personality and started manifesting a system of value. She realized that her shyness allowed her to work for 8 hours straight without needing social validation. She didn't need the dopamine hit of a good job from a boss every 10 minutes. So said that, quiet focused to build a side hustle and automated digital platform that solved a massive problem for logistics companies. She didn't need to pitch investors in person. She pitched them via highly VA, data reports, and white papers. Her work was so precise, so undeniable, that the loud world had to stop and pay attention to her. She became a millionaire not by learning to give a speech, but by learning to build a proxy. She realized that the more she detached her personal identity from her business, the faster her business grew. She wasn't selling Maya, she was selling a solution that was much bigger than Maya. This is the shift from performance to production. Maya's wealth didn't come from her voice, it came from her silence. It came from the hours she spent observing where the system was broken and using her quiet nature to fix it while everyone else was out at happy hour. How do you apply this? The first major shift is building what I call digital authority. For the shy person, the internet is the ultimate equalizer. It allows you to manifest influence without the social tax. In the physical world, you have to be on. On the internet, your work is on for you. Choose a medium where your voice isn't heard, but your mind is felt. Writing, faceless YouTube channels, software development, or high-level analysis. Instead of visualizing yourself on a stage, visualize your work on a million screens. Visualize the value loop, where your creation is solving problems while you are at home in your sanctuary. You are manifesting a version of yourself that is loud, so you can stay quiet. Step 2 is using the observer's edge. Shy people are naturally prone to overthinking. Usually, overthinking is a curse. We're going to turn it into a tool. Instead of broad "I am rich" affirmations, use your analytical mind to visualize the gaps. Spend 10 minutes a day looking for market glitches. Where are people complaining? Where is the friction? Visualize yourself as the invisible fixer. When you manifest solutions rather than just cash, the universe moves faster because you are providing a service. You are looking for where the noise is highest and the clarity is lowest. That is where the money is hidden. Step 3 is the Proxy Method for confidence. The reason shy people struggle with manifestation is performance anxiety. You worry about how you look while you are manifesting. You worry about the how. Move the focus from me to the mission. If you have to go on a sales call or a meeting, don't manifest, "I will be confident." Manifest, "The client will receive exactly what they need to succeed." When the goal is bigger than your ego, your shyness has nowhere to hide. You become a vessel for the solution. You are no longer the shy person in the room. You are the bearer of the answer. When you focus on the result, your personality becomes irrelevant. And for a shy person, irrelevance is freedom. This leads us to the deeper mechanics of the proxy method. This is the ultimate tool for the quiet empire. The proxy method is based on the idea of leveraged presence. You identify people or systems that thrive in the spotlight, and you use them as your front. Think of the most successful authors in the world. Many are painfully shy. Their books are their proxies. People fall in love with the book, not the author. Think of the most successful hedge fund managers. You've never heard their names. Their capital is their proxy. To use this in manifestation, first identify your proxy. Is it a brand name, a piece of software, an anonymous social media account, a high-performing sales agent? Then, infuse that proxy with energy. Instead of trying to make yourself vibrate higher, make your brand represent that energy. Imagine your brand as a physical shield. It goes out into the world and takes the hits, does the talking, and makes the deals. The result is that you manifest the money and the impact, but the social tax is paid by the proxy, not by you. This allows you to stay in your quiet power while your bank account grows at an extroverted pace. Imagine your bank account as a separate entity that doesn't care if you are shy or not. It doesn't care if you stutter or if you hate eye contact. It only cares about the math. Manifest the math. Manifest the conversion rates. Manifest the user growth. These are logical, cold, and quiet numbers. They don't require you to be a people person. They only require you to be a results person. By focusing on the proxy, you bypass the emotional resistance, the fear, and the shame that usually stops shy people from manifesting wealth. You aren't building a personal brand. You are building an objective force. The world is getting louder every day. Everyone is screaming for attention, fighting for a few seconds of relevance. In a world full of noise, the person who can sit in a quiet room and think deeply is the most dangerous person on the planet. Your shyness is not a cage, it is a filter. It keeps out the fake friends, the superficial drama, and the distractions that keep loud people broke. You don't need to change your voice. You don't need to fix your personality. You just need to realize that the universe doesn't respond to the volume of your voice, it responds to the clarity of your intent. You can be quiet and still be a titan. You can be shy and still be a millionaire. The manifestation of money is not a social event. It is a mathematical inevitability for those who provide value. If you're tired of the hustle culture and want a more logical, deep dive approach to success, then you are in the right place. We don't do loud here. We do deep thinking. We do manifestation for the logical skeptic. We understand that your power comes from your ability to see what others miss. If this resonated with you, subscribe and join our community. We are building empires in the silence. Stop apologizing for your nature. Stop trying to be the extrovert you were never meant to be. Start using your shyness as a shield and your observation as a sword. The extroverts might win the morning by talking the loudest, but the quiet ones own the night by building the systems that the morning relies on. Stay quiet. Stay powerful. Your time is coming. Your wealth is already being built in the spaces between the noise. Trust the system. Trust your silence, and let the results speak for themselves. You don't need to be heard to be powerful. You just need to be right.